This is the sixth and last part of Dorne history. Last video we left off with King Daeron II Targaryen successfully bringing Dorne into the fold through words and not war. Bringing the Seven Kingdoms officially under a single ruler was achieved through marriage. Daeron II was married to the Princess of Dorne, Maria Martell, and an arrangement for the Prince of Dorne, Laurent Martell, to marry King Daeron II's sister was later made. Following Dorne submitting to rule under the Iron Throne, Dorne, and specifically House Martell, would become very close to House Targaryen. This isn't something that went over well with the rest of the Seven Kingdoms, especially the lords of the Stormlands and Reach. For thousands of years, these lords had been subject to Dornish raids. Following Aegon I's conquest and ruling of the Sixth of Seven Kingdoms, many Stormlanders and people of the Reach suffered greatly from Dorne attacking in defiance. However, in Dorne's defense, besides the raids, the big battles were instigated by those under the Iron Throne attempting to conquer Dorne. Hell, people were even behind Aegon IV, Daeron II's father and predecessor, trying to invade Dorne during his reign. So it makes sense when Daeron II married a Dornish woman and made her queen of the Seven Kingdoms that tension began to occur. Marrying a Dornish woman brought many Dornish men to King's Landing, and as the Dornish influence increased at court, Dornish men were given high offices, and this made people grumble. People also looked to Daeron II's heir, Baelor Breakspear, who looked very Dornish with his brown hair and eyes. In many people's minds, they didn't see a future Targaryen ruler, but a Dornish one. Later, when the Prince of Dorne married Daeron II's sister, Daenerys, and Dorne officially joined the rule of the Iron Throne, tensions increased when Dorne was given privileges the other lords of the Seven Kingdoms did not receive, such as maintaining their own laws, keeping their stylings of prince and princess, and less tax oversight by the Iron Throne. Couple that with their bitter enemies now being their allies, many people longed for the day when Dorne was still their enemy. This tension, along with a few other factors, eventually led to the First Blackfyre Rebellion in 195 AC. And while I don't want to talk about the Blackfyre Rebellion in depth because I've discussed it in so many other videos, when the First Blackfyre Rebellion broke out, the Martells fought on the side of House Targaryen, with Baelor Breakspear leading a host of Dornish spearmen. In all the Blackfyre Rebellions, even though some houses within Dorne sided with the Pretenders, the Martells would always support the Targaryens. And in the fifth and final Blackfyre Rebellion, known as the War of the Ninepenny Kings, the Martells would even send spears to the Stepstones to aid the Targaryens in crushing their enemies. So again, the Martells, after a long time of fighting the Targaryens, are now very close to them, having their back at times of need. Much later, in 280 AC, the Dornish would be again joined to the royal family through marriage. Prince Rhaegar Targaryen, son of King Aerys II Targaryen, would marry the Princess of Dorne, Elia Martell. A fragile woman, Princess Elia and Prince Rhaegar would have two children together, and had the madness of Aerys II and the actions of Prince Rhaegar not prevented it, a prince of Dornish blood would have one day ruled the realm. But things didn't go that way. When Rhaegar Targaryen abducted Lyanna Stark and Aerys II demanded the heads of Robert Baratheon and Ned Stark, Robert's rebellion would occur. Dorne supported the Targaryens once again, and they sent 10,000 spears through the Boneway and to King's Landing to aid Prince Rhaegar. Prince Lewin of Dorne, the uncle of the current ruler of Dorne, Prince Doran Martell, would take control of these spearmen, but some say only because Aerys II threatened him, fearing the Dornish men were going to betray him in his madness. These 10,000 men joined the rest of Prince Rhaegar's forces, and eventually the Battle of the Trident occurred where Rhaegar's men met the rebel forces. Many lives were lost in the battle, including Prince Lewin of Martell, and in the end, the rebels won, making it so that they could successfully remove the Targaryens from the Iron Throne. After this crushing defeat on the Trident, Lord Tywin Lannister would pretend to come to King Aerys II's aid at King's Landing, but it was a trap and the city was taken while Jaime Lannister killed King Aerys II. Princess Elia Martell and her children, being held in King's Landing as hostages by Aerys II just in case Dorne betrayed him, would die by Tywin Lannister's orders. Although for a long time some claimed that the death of Elia Martell and her children was at Aerys II's order, or Elia herself, fearing what would happen to her dead husband's children. However, we know through Tywin that he was the one that ordered the death of Rhaegar's children, although he claims he never told the Mountain to kill Princess Elia. Through admission of Gregor Clegane, the Mountain, those present at the trial of combat for Tyrion Lannister also know that Prince Aegon's head was smashed against a wall and Elia was raped and murdered by the Mountain, who had Elia's child's brain and blood on his hands still. Following Robert Baratheon sitting the throne, Dorne would be furious upon hearing about the death of their Princess Elia and her children. For a while, Dorne's next move was unknown, and Oberyn, Prince Dorne and Elia's brother, wanted to continue the war in Viserys Targaryen's name. until Jon Arryn, Robert Baratheon's hand, was able to make peace with Prince Dorne Martell. Despite kneeling to the throne once again, Dorne hasn't forgotten its anger, and neither has Prince Dorne or Oberyn Martell. Dorne developed an almost isolationist policy since swearing allegiance to Robert Baratheon, and now they choose to mostly deal with the free cities. Roughly 14 years after this peace is made is when the current A Song of Ice and Fire novels begin. Despite those years, Dorne hasn't forgotten the spilled blood of their prince and princesses, and some might suggest the people of Dorne are not as loyal to the Iron Throne as they seem. This concludes Dorne history. I will be posting some last, smaller videos about Dorne, and next week we will most likely start on House Stark on Wednesday, unless I get any more Dorne ideas. Thank you to everyone that voted in the poll. If you have any questions about Dorne for me, I will make a separate Q&A video, just list your questions below. And the giveaway winner is Talking and Killing. I'll be sending you a private message soon, so keep a lookout. If you didn't win, new giveaway starts next Sunday.